Welcome back, y'all, to That's What I'm Saying, the podcast about hip hop, entertainment, dating, sex, relationships, and social issues from a sometimes ratchet but mostly woke perspective. So listen and subscribe to That's What I'm Saying. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, you can listen to us. Also, watch That's What I'm Saying, the TV show on Island TV. You just download the Island TV app. Follow us on Instagram at TwistPod. So I'm Shaun.
And I'm Shatara.
Hey, sis. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I sang it for you. Shatara. Put some respect on my name.
Cute. So cute. Yeah. So, all right. So we don't have a name for this episode yet.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to rock with it, right?
Is it okay if I come up with a name as we go?
Yeah, that's cool.
And have one of those mind-blasting moments like, oh, I got a name.
Mm-hmm. As you do.
Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
As you do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's no name, but let's get right to the ratchet.
Please.
Shall we? All right. So I don't know if you saw, just for starters, actress Mia Campbell says she wants to work with Tyler Perry. Now, she is the actress who was in the late 90s show In the House.
I remember her. I watched the show.
LL Cool J and Debbie Allen. And she was always known, I mean, she's so pretty. Like, that's the one thing. Like, Mia Campbell is known to be like, oh my God, she just had a different look. Well, since then, let me just go back before we even get into the whole Tyler Perry thing. She has been known to be online pleading out about, being done wrong with LL Cool J. But really, she has a drug addiction and she suffers from bipolar. Mm-hmm. So there was always like a warning against, like, before you listen to anything Maya has to say, like, just know she's on drugs, she's doing bad. I remember, like, she lost her teeth. It was like, oh my God, she's so pretty. That's the only thing people always said, like, so sad because she's so pretty. Well, anyway, she seems to be doing very well. I don't know if you saw her in this last video.
I saw the post of her. I saw the picture. So, I got to go back with Mia Campbell because her mother, Bebe Moore Campbell, is the author, the late Bebe Moore Campbell, but she wrote Your Blues Ain't Like Mine back in the day, like back in I think the early 2000s. So, and then hearing that she had a daughter, Maya, and I just In the House was like my show. I loved it, and I looked up to her during that time. She was, like I said, so beautiful, so pretty, and it was a good show. So she's obviously, her struggles have played out on social media. Because you think of it, like when the show In the House came out, I mean, I don't even think there was like Facebook. There was none of that.
No.
So that was after all of, the show came out before social media.
Social media, yep.
So it was like sad to see her, on the streets and cocaine and crack. Crack is whack. It was a terrible drug. She was struggling.
Just a different person. Like, from what we remember seeing her on the show. And and the funny thing was, in the show was Kim Waynes and I'm going to say Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. What is his name? Anywho, it was some good funny in that show. It really was. And when you see her, like you said, her life like played out, it was just the saddest thing because it was a different person from who we saw on TV. So sounds like, things come full circle. She's looking good right now. And she's asking Tyler Perry to please shoot the movie, which is her mother's book, 72 Hour Hole, which is a fictional story about her mother's coping with her daughter's bipolar diagnosis.
Wow.
And kind of navigating the broken mental health system, especially for people of color. So, she's really advocating for that. And she's asking Tyler Perry on the social media platform, please shoot my mother's story. It was a great book. And I really think that Tyler Perry is going to take her up on that. Like, it's a good shot. She's shooting her shot.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you know what? Prayers up for her, because watching her, that was hard to watch. But hopefully she's gotten herself. And, one thing I remember dating this guy back in the day.
Oh, here we go. Story time.
He, you would never know from looking at him, but, he had a serious drug addiction. And he said, I will always be like, I'll always be a crackhead. As long as I remember that, I won't go back. But, you're like a pipe away. Like it's an addiction. It's that. And I just remember him saying, I'm like, oh, that's kind of crazy, but I can understand it. Like, if you have ever been in that type of situation, getting out of it doesn't mean that it never happened. So you don't forget that struggle. That's basically what he's trying to say. Ooh, child.
Wow. Did you date him after that? Did y'all move forward?
Shut up. I mean, I
Was
didn't.
there? I'm
Like I
questioning.
said, you would never know. Like he completely got his life on track, and I mean, this he was talking about his past as a teenager, and
Wow.
like at least for me, growing up, nobody did crack. Maybe people did cocaine, but like
It
crack
was on
was
New Jack City. We saw that on New Jack City with Pookie.
like
It was in the movies.
nobody I knew. So yeah, but it is a thing.
Did you grab your purse
Yeah, I did. I
when he
was
told you that?
the audacity.
You grabbed your purse and looked at your TV. Was like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Yep. It's all my forks here. I have all my forks. Like, man, I smoked the TV.
Oh. Well, like you said, he told you this as an after fact. Like,
Yes.
now I'm all better. I'm good now. I've been delivered.
Yeah. So,
Well, that's good. Of all vices, I'm just so glad that that's not one of them. Because, whew.
whew.
Whew. So anyway, speaking of whew, where's our girl Onija? Onija, who wants all her lands.
Where's my team? This is my
Okay.
team.
Shabana, do you want to say something to the people? So our girl Onija, she's showing off her husband, and let me just tell you this: I saw Onija doing a Netflix commercial.
Really?
Yeah, online. She was like, catch the new shows like on Netflix, and everybody's commenting.
Serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. Everybody's commenting like, you know what, sis, get your money. So she sparked so much attention that Netflix has got her on board just to do like a little commercial, little promo.
I can't.
Yes.
I can't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Onija.
She was like, "It's dirty out here. I'm gonna get y'all some new streets."
Mm-hmm. The reason why y'all living like this. She came and called it, but I'm so glad that she's back and she's doing okay because I got scared for her over there for a minute.
Why?
I just felt like she's in a different country, a different place, like talking out the way she was talking. I know there was a young lady who went out to Dubai. She's incarcerated for going off in the airport and she's still not home. So I was just thinking of that, like, who knows what's going to happen to this Onija? Like, she's a sensation, but who? And then sure enough, they end up loving her and took care of her and everything worked out.
But did she get her husband? You said she got her husband. I didn't hear that part.
Apparently she's showing off pictures of this husband of hers, and she appears to be rolling around in a Rolls Royce.
Because I he's like 19 years old. So the Pakistani dude that she was supposed to marry, she tricked him with a picture of her that was all AI'd out, and it was a picture of her looking like Nicki Minaj.
Now, hold on now. Now, Onaja's very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's granted she was shouting out different labels on her clothes, and they were like, no, those are not Gucci, Chanel, those are Dior boots you have on, but okay. Like she's a little, just a little bit. But Onaja's very pretty, so I don't know if she really needed to do the Nicki Minaj filter, but that's what got him, huh?
Oh yeah, well that is what got him. So it was a nice filter. It just wasn't her. So,
but what I don't know is this whole showing off the boyfriend thing. I don't know if it's the original one that she had went out of the country for, or did she like snab a new one?
No, I think this is the same one, the 19-year-old.
The one that left town when he saw her at the front door.
Love.
The one that left town when he saw her at the front door. This the one?
Yeah, the one. Well, his family just didn't want her around, but supposedly the young dude, the 19-year-old, he wants her around. He, so they're in love. That's what he said.
So, bye.
Yeah, and she visited, and I guess when it was time for her to meet his family, they like, oh hell no.
they said in their language. How do you say hell to the no?
Yeah, they said it in
hell to the no. They said meet me at the parking lot. They said no. They said that's a hard no. Well, that's a boyfriend now, so technically they have to get married.
Well,
right?
I guess so. All right. Well,
I don't know. Well, I wish them well, and I want to hear more about Onija because she was such a sensation and worthy of my time. And I don't even think she meant to do it. That was the thing. I don't think she meant to do it.
That she meant to do what?
Like become such a sensation the way she did.
I think she went over there with a little bit. Well, I think the part about the sensation happened when, because allegedly she went over there to go visit. She spent whatever 30 days, and when her visa was up, he dropped her at the airport, and then Onija was like, "I ain't leaving." So I think at that point that's where she caused the scene. She you better stop playing with me, Trump. What she say?
Allah, Allah, Allah. Yeah, she was just claiming the culture, claiming the religion and everything. And she carried it on over. And then the thing was that Onaja had kids at home. Like, girl, stop playing. Onaja had kids at home.
And then she was hospitalized for a minute over there in Pakistan. So you know what? Sis, get it how you live. Good luck to you. I bid you adieu. I bid you.
Clear the way. Wait a minute, clear the way. Wait, can we can talk about the team though, really quick. Yes. We said this before, but when you really look at the team, it almost came off as though like they gave her some outdoor time at a psych hospital, and the team of people around her was like the doctor, the nurse. And I'm just speaking from what I know from experience, okay? Seeing like your team of people, like, yeah, you got about 2 hours of visiting. You got to get your ass right back in here. So it's like Shabana was the nurse. Don't get it twisted.
Shabana, you have something to say, Shabana?
Shabana was the med nurse. Don't get it twisted. Oh. Yeah, that was the team. So now we say that. You got a team, girl. You got a team.
Classic.
I'm not mad. Speaking of team, did you hear about what's going on with Wendy Williams and this alleged letter that officially had her locked up?
Yeah.
So as we all know, it's been a big thing with the guardianship, and Wendy's her funds were frozen, and she has been put in a place where people basically have like dementia, and they're not mentally well, and she's locked up against her own will, and it's not right. And the mystery is like, how did this all happen? So apparently the letter has finally come out, and this letter was written by her doctor. I'm sorry. No. Who is this now? Let me get my facts straight. Miss Williams has been my patient, her doctor, for over a year now. Over the last 6 months, she has been unable to make reasoned decisions, and her insight and judgment are severely impaired. That was it.
This was the letter from who to who?
This was her doctor wrote this to her financial advisor.
And the financial advisor, who do we know? Okay.
So the psychiatrist, Rami Kaminsky, wrote a letter to her financial advisor, who is Lori Schiller, which was then submitted to her bank, which was Wells Fargo. And then that same month, the bank froze her funds and began pushing her for temporary financial guardianship. So that's how it all started. The doctor wrote a letter.
So the bank stepped in, and this is where we've been talking about this a couple of different ways, because the bank is the one who stepped in and filed a petition for guardianship. So basically, they wanted control over her person and her property. This is the bank that's doing it. This is the bank where she puts her money and spends her money as she please. However, and they decide to get in the middle of things. This to me, this just reeks of conspiracy and a plot against her to take her money. Because as we've seen her in different media platforms afterwards speaking, not an inch of dementia or anything. When she was kind of incoherent, I believe she was drugged. I believe that was something that was done by her her handlers and all of this to drug her out, but now that it sounds like she was, speaking with clarity and was being held against her will. This is crazy. And then you think, she had how many millions or whatever she had in the bank, not been able to touch it or take care of her son. I believe he had to drop out of college or something, or move out of his home, the home that he was in. Because the funds weren't available because all this has happened. So to know that this was orchestrated, and I've even heard that her financial advisor used her American Express to pay for the legal fees to have her basically admitted into a facility and have her accounts frozen. So that's crazy. So he basically stepped in and used Wendy's own money to get her jammed up like this. This is egregious. It hurts my heart. And we have a history with Wendy in terms of like, because I was reading something, they were like, she's been out since 2008. I'm like, no, even before that, Wendy was on the airwaves. She was on Hot 97. Was she on WBLS in New York? and came down with that whole Puffy thing, had to move off the station, and she's a pioneer, and she's one of the reasons why we do this show in the first place. Can we say that? Like, she is an inspiration. She's an inspiration why I even decided to even do a podcast, to even do this at all, was because of Wendy Williams.
We love Wendy Williams. Yeah, we grew up on Wendy Williams back when Mommy had the big boom box. It was yellow and black.
Yellow and black. The Bumblebee.
Remember BLSB playing like back in the day? Yeah, that. And we was trying to listen to what Wendy was talking about, and just a lot of personality, just a good time. And it's unfortunate that some people would say like, good for her, because she's spreading gossip. And I'm just like, well, when you really look at it, the tabloid magazines at the grocery store are still there, and they will hold you up online. Every now and then I get a little caught up myself. So everybody likes a little juice. She was just a little bit hair from the horse's mouth, and people didn't like that.
Yep.
She had a lot of receipts, but either way, entertaining nonetheless, even from the Wendy Williams show. I was tuning in as much as I could. If I didn't, it was so great that they played it during the day. And if you didn't catch it, you can catch it at 7:00 at night. It was on high demand, the Wendy Williams show. So, we were happy about that. So I hope everything really works out for her. She has some good people on her team. I know that Harvey from TMZ is like an attorney who's fighting for her.
Okay.
And he makes sure he reports back on the show. Like, I saw Wendy today. She's fine. She is in no way, shape, or form in the state that they're trying to make her sound to be. Wendy's in her right mind. Like, none of this makes sense. Like, he's digging in the crates, letting it be known. Like, I'm on her team. Like, I'm Team Wendy. I'm helping figure this out.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Wishing Wendy well, please.
Yeah. And yes, absolutely. And you know who else I'm wishing well? That Kanye West.
Okay. Well.
So
are you wishing him well? Or are you saying like he just gets some?
So Kanye, we all know it's like what in Kanye news. That's what it seems like it is every day. So recently, Kanye had an interview with DJ Academics, and he showed up wearing a black KKK outfit to this interview, as if he hasn't already sparked controversy wearing a t-shirt with a swastika on. He's saying crazy stuff. We already know. And he even says, like, as far as the whole, are you following Hitler, what's going on? He said, like, yeah, I'm evil. I'm an evil person. Ooh. Like, in the interview, it was like dead silence. Everybody's like, oh no, he let it be known. Like, and then the other part of me is like, Kanye has a sense of humor. Like, if you go back to some of his songs, he says a lot of chuckle-worthy stuff. And I feel like, to that sense, he's keeping up with that. He's being funny. And then when they asked about his outfit, he was like, I got one in white too. So Kanye's a mess. So anyway,
he is a mess.
In this interview, he goes on about John Legend and that whole, and really giving the history of them. And the funny thing is that he says John Legend smells like mashed potatoes, and he goes on a rant, and then he goes on to say John Legend wears long sleeve in Barbados. And that was it. That was a kid in Barbados. And that was it. And John Legend didn't respond on Drink Champs. On Drink Champs, yep.
What'd he say?
John Legend didn't respond, and he just said that he said it really didn't hurt him none. He said that he went on to say like him and Kanye go so far back, and Kanye put him on, like, so it's almost like hard to see, like he comes from a place of like, I love my brother, so it's hard to see him like that, like. And that's really it. John didn't come with no smoke. Yeah, he was just saying that, he acknowledged, like, and he also gave him crazy props. He was like, you got to give him, props for being such a big part of hip hop, a big part of history, like bringing great music. He gave him all props.
Okay, so he kept it above board.
He really did. He really did. Going back to Rockefeller Records, some of the music they worked on.
Was his hips a part of the interview?
Oh no! You ever see that picture with him and Chrissy Teigen at the beach, and he has all the booty and she has a flat butt?
Yeah, he got a bubble butt. Assy guys.
Oh man. But Chanel calls our sister calls John Legend. John, let me go to sleep.
I second that motion
because she says like his voice is so like, oh, let me go to sleep. John Legend's all right with me. I'm like, all right, so. Kanye can go ahead. And then even then I still have to think about like the song Gold Digger. There's so many funny things he says in that. Even Jesus Walks, like he just waits till I get my money right, God, he said I had a dream I could buy my way to heaven. I woke up and spent that on a necklace. Like Kanye. said rollies and pastas done drove me crazy. Yo, he couldn't afford the car, so she named her daughter Alexis. He's
That's
just,
right.
I can go on and on. Kanye has said some funny stuff in his music. That's where I'm like, so I see him now and I'm like, he's being funny.
And
Anywho,
right, he's his rap style to me is just it's for amusement. It's definitely amusement. There's nothing serious that comes out of anything that he says. And that's
yeah.
cool. That's cool. Like there's a lane for that. That's cool. I'm just, I'm tired of the antics because I feel like we know that he deals with bipolar disorder, and it's a mental health issue is real, and we kind of we allow him, we give him a platform for his mental health issues to play out.
Well, I will say this. There was a part of the interview that actually stood out. Sorry, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. He goes on about him and Jay-Z and their beef. All right. And then he touches on the Kendrick Lamar and Drake situation. And he was like, of course they're going to say like, oh, crazy Kanye, don't listen to crazy Kanye. He's like, but why do you think that they wanted to put Kendrick Lamar, for the Super Bowl? Like, in other words, Drake is really the hotter rapper. Like, let's be real here. Like, but we don't want to give Drake no more play. Like, let's have him simmer down. The way he kind of put the politics of music really had me like, hold on a minute now. I think you have a point.
Really?
Kanye was making a good point. He was like, I know this. Like, I'm in this industry. Like, I know this. He's like, you think, they were like, hold on. Like the masters, how he said it, the masters were like, y'all all, you Negroes like pipe down. Like we're controlling how this all goes.
Okay.
He's like, you really think? Like, and when you really think about it, you're like, yeah, Drake was bigger than Kendrick,
okay.
right?
Kanye has a point. Kanye do have some points, but he puts a good point together with some BS, some real BS.
You ain't never lied. You ain't.
Right.
Here I go. Yep, you're right. I'm on that wagon too. You're right.
To listen to as you talking serious and you over here in a black KKK.
You right. Just ridiculous. You're right. It's
am I supposed to hear?
It's an M&M sundae. You're right, with some pretzels and some vegetables in it. Nonetheless, it's still ice cream. I don't care if you put broccoli in it. It's still yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Are we in the woke minute?
We should be.
All right, we should be. Well, look, we are in the woke minute, and this woke minute is about the trade wars. Because Trump loved the tariffs. Like Trump loved the kids, Trump loved the tariffs, man. So at this point, this is like an ever-changing landscape. We talk about what's going on in the political world. So as of today, I believe Trump has stayed the tariffs for a period of 90 days with all the other except China. Trump basically told the other countries, don't retaliate. We're going to do these tariffs, and but on a condition that they would not do business with China, because the understanding is y'all don't do business with China. We're gonna work this whole thing out. So 77 countries basically came to the table and said, okay, we ain't gonna deal with. We'll follow along, Trump. Because I think worse than what they hate Trump, but this whole thing with China has just really gotten out of proportion. So 77 countries basically came to the table, said they're not going to deal with China until this whole trade, I guess, fair trade thing is worked out. Now, the thing with China is China does not want fair trade. They have $1 trillion, get this, $1 trillion deficit with the U.S., which means that more dollars flow into China than return. So, they're making a lot of money. As a matter of fact, 90% of China's exports come from the United States. So we're basically subsidizing their whole economy. So no, they don't want to talk, a trade or, trade deals, right? So what does Trump do? Trump turns around and puts in the tariff. I think at the last count, I saw 245%. I don't know if that was over a cumulative over a period of time or whatever, but 245% tariffs. We've seen astronomical numbers as they relate to China. So the thing with China is China can't beat us militarily, right? We have to agree. We have probably the better military. But we use these, what I would consider like these Cold War tactics. We've seen what has happened with Wuhan, with COVID. There is, direct evidence that China floods the United States with fentanyl. They are the number one suppliers of fentanyl. And to get people addicted. China's also known, like, they will steal your IP, like your intellectual property, and like say nothing of it. We know this because you go right down to Canal Street and see all the IP on the streets, right? On the side of the street. Another thing I learned about China is they will send tour groups, from China over to the United States to gather information, and they'll buy up. They do like these real estate tours. They'll buy up real estate. They'll buy up businesses, and for the benefit of like a large group of Chinese people. Now, the way that they're doing this is because China has the banking system is state owned. It's called what's called capital control. So it's like if you have all this money in China, you say you're a Chinese billionaire. You can only use a certain amount of, you can only exchange a certain amount of their yuan for US dollars. So they can, and I think it's like $50,000. Yeah. But the thing with the catch with that is they cannot buy US assets with the $50,000, that they can get in US monies. They cannot buy outside of China. So it's very hard for Chinese people to invest outside of their country. It's set up that way by their government. And it's also hard for foreign investors to go into China because the whole system is state run. So this is, it's created what I would consider, what I think people are saying is like, the market, it's a market manipulation because what's the one place we know if you want to get something for cheap, and it's coming from China, it's going to be cheap, correct? It's going to be
Temu
to acquire, and that's because China as a country, they manipulate their currency, so they basically undervalue their yuan, and it gives them an unfair advantage in international trade and all across the world. So. But it's done, like I said, it's done by the state. They are able to kind of manipulate it. So this is one of the things that Trump is looking to address. However, we know Trump is he's very aggressive. It's kind of haphazard the way that it's done because in whether this is a good way to do it or not, we're going to feel it. So as Americans here in the United States, when it comes to consumerism, we're going to feel it the most because if the idea is to allow U.S. companies to be able to better compete with the global markets. The only way to do that is by raising prices. So, who's going to feel the brunt of it? So it's kind of like, if you are a steel manufacturer, so to speak, in the United States, you're going to make, of course, you want the tariffs. You're going to make more money because this means that foreign steel is not going to be able to come in and you'll be able to produce it and sell it for what's needed. But if you're, say, me and you, and I just want my Fashion Nova jeans, and I'm just making a joke of it, but, or I just want my new cell phone, it's going to cost me more, especially, great if I get it from somebody that made it in the United States. Well, the most likely possibility is that it's going to cost me even more than I've ever paid before in my life. So, yes. What do you?
So really quick, just in layman's terms. So I just want to give this like a quick breakdown, and I'm going to say layman's terms. So, in definition, the primary purpose of a tariff is to make goods from other countries more expensive in order to protect domestic producers, suppliers, and labor. Prior to the introduction of income tax in the early 20th century, tariffs were the major source of income for governments around the world, right? So now that you get, just the basic definition of it all, what we're asking them, because as we mentioned before, like 90% of the stuff we have is coming from China. Like we pretty much employ we help their community, not their community, we help their system move very swiftly on the financial side because we're buying everything from them. So now are we asking, can you please not go up on your numbers for these tariffs, which are necessary? Can you please come down off your numbers? Please be nice to us. Is that what we're asking?
No, not yeah, but no.
Like what are we really asking?
Well, one, we're asking them to come to the table and to discuss the trade, how it's working, and to label, to level the playing field, because what they're doing is it does create very unfair competition. I mean, if I can buy a widget and I can get it shipped to China to my door for $1, the idea is like, I'm not going to pay $10 from Joe who lives across the street from me, most likely just because it's made in America. But would it be better to tax the Chinese widget that's coming over and add another $10, $11 on it? Now we're talking, okay, I got $11 that I can pay for this widget from China, or I got $9 that I can pay from this widget coming from Joe across the street. Which one would I want to buy? And which one circulates the money better in the United States,
in the economy,
buying from the guy across the street?
So it's almost like saying, like, you need to support your local businesses, hypothetically, right? But the local businesses are saying, I'm having a hard time staying in business because now I'm being charged too much because the majority of stuff I get is from China.
No.
Well,
yeah.
Breaking it down just a little simpler for the average Joe.
Like, yeah, I tried to. It was a little bit, yeah.
So I'm just saying, so like my car parts right now are being held up.
Okay.
So I'm getting car parts from different countries. Some of them, it was like, okay, that's coming from Texas. That's fine. This one is going to come from Germany. This one is coming from, it's going to be coming from China. So things are on hold. Even my mechanic told me, like, he's fixing the Tesla and he has parts that are like on hold.
From everywhere. Right.
So that would be like worldwide, right? Now, had it be like, I'm just getting this from, this local place, Joe, he has a little shop and he has Tinker toys and he fixes them himself. Like, he's not worried about what we're worried about over here. So it's on the global scale of us, buying and selling with each other. So you're saying we want China to come to the table and make it fair.
That's pretty much what I understand is being asked, but it's a hard game. It's a war. It's a tariff war, but it's a game that has to be played. And I've heard stories that China's economy is collapsing. I don't know how true that is, but there's rumors or information that factories and businesses are shutting down in China because of this tariff war. And it would kind of make sense if you think, well, 90% of their production is leaving their country and coming to the United States. So that would leave 10% that of their market that's going to countries outside of other than the United States. So I don't know how true that is, but if they're hurting because of this tariff, then that to me is a reason why to come to the table and, work this out. However, I think working it out, it's not a simple, and I'm not a statistician and I'm not an economic major at all, but even I can understand that is not an easy task. Like what would inevitably have to happen is China and its state directed lending and their markets would have to cede control. They would have to give up some control. And I mean, I'm not Chinese and I've never been to China, but I think that's an easy thing to ask. Like, hey, Chinese government who's been doing this over the last hundreds and something years, and you control the banks and everything, and y'all have nothing. You don't even have a free market, but y'all need to make it more free over there. That's basically what we want. We want y'all to stop having so much control over your government run stuff.
Yes, maybe I'm not understanding it 100% because I also feel like, who am I to tell you how to run your business if I'm in business with you?
Well, it's a kind of a slippery slope because like how who are we to tell people how to run things? However, there's leverage here on both sides. We got skin in the game, and so do they. So it's not we can't just be like, well, you know what, forget it, because markets crash. The structures come down if that were to happen. So that cannot happen. This is why this is not. We didn't do China like Cuba and just, create an embargo and like, nothing in, nothing out. This is trying to work it out because there's skin in the game on both sides. So,
and for them, for them, I'm also feeling like for them in this negotiation process, if even it happens, they're not looking at it like, this is a state of emergency. the United States is really coming us with some deals, and we don't want to go that way. Like, would it be the smarter thing to do? Sure, come to the table. But on the other end of it, no. I kind of see them like you said, it's we don't know if their economy is really like being torn apart, but like what if they're like, no, just no. Keep buying it the way it is, and that's what it's gonna be. Hang up the phone. Then what?
They're gonna have to come to the bargaining table. I mean, everybody else has. They're gonna have to come to the table.
I'm saying if they don't, like,
And this, well, this is what that's what Trump does. I mean, he will hang up the phone like he did. So
that's how I'm looking at it. Like, don't tell me how to do my business and make it fair now. Like, no, that's just this is my price and that's my price.
yeah, but but who does this hurt and how does it hurt? And we as Americans, so caught up with our bottom line, this will affect our bottom line. And we can say that it won't, but it will in one way or another. So we just have to have to watch and see how this plays out. But it is a trade war on a global scale that is playing out right before our eyes.
They're showing in the stock market. Yeah, I would think that the president would want to be best friends.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Okay. Anywho, you want a little weekend dick? Because I've been saying love these past few days, taping the live show. I keep it very clean. Yeah. And I say we can love. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can say it. Oh.
Yeah, you can say.
Weekend dick. 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 All right. So here we go. My best friend's husband recently called to ask me if I was with my best friend on vacation, which was last year. I know she went with someone else, and of course, I was the alibi. She obviously doesn't know he's fishing around behind her back, and I know if I tell him to take it up with her, and it's none of my business, that might cause more problems. Girl code, I understand the assignment, sis. You're my best friend, but now what am I to do? I don't know if did you ever respond? Clearly she didn't answer his questions. Anyway, what do you say?
I mean, that's what I'm going to say. Like, I ask her, who is your friend? Who's your friend?
Yeah.
In the whole thing, like who's the person that's your homegirl? So stick to the story, sis. Whatever that story was. It sounds like she already knew that her homegirl might have been creeping out on the husband, right?
Yep, she's an alibi.
And that's like, don't get me in the middle, but tell her you're gonna have to man up. Thelma and Louise this shit out. You have to do what you gotta do. And I'm not saying lie. I'm not saying make up a story, do whatever, but
stick to the story.
Stick to whatever the story was. And because I'm like, well, she should just tell the husband, like, well, you need to go and ask your wife. But that causes a little.
She said that's going to cause more shit.
a little suspicious. But, I'm just like, she's going to have to take one for her team. And her team is her homegirl.
Well, with this one, and I agree, men stick together even if they're strangers. So I was telling you, there was a show with Chelsea Handler and she would prank people. I forget the name of the show. Anyway, it was a woman in a wedding dress. And what she did was she would come out of the store in the wedding dress, like, I'm sorry, I'm just trying on my dress. But my husband just went to the car. I think it was either like my best friend or sister, something like that. Mm-hmm. Can you just go get them? They're right there. And then they would show like the van and it would be like rocking, like they was in there getting it in. And it was men would come back and tell her, I didn't see him. I'm sorry. Like 8 men all walked by and shrugged and was like, they wanted no parts of it. He's in there. He said he's coming. People covered him. They didn't even know him. The women who would walk by, 2 black women, they were like, oh, who's that? Your sister? Your best friend? Oh, he's in there. You want us to go with you? The black women were down to fight. A lot of women, older women passed by and was like, I'm sorry, maybe you shouldn't marry him. He's still in that car. Yeah, it was funny to see the outcome, but I'm just telling you that story just when it's real live, in your face. Men don't even have to know each other and their bro code is strong. Like they are sticking together. And for this one right here, it's just like, yeah, if you understand the assignment, sis, like don't answer his call. Clearly he's coming up with something a year later. Like I'm your friend. And I've been in a situation before where I had to check one of my girlfriends and I dare he not come and ask me no question. What do you need to tell him? Tell him that I said I'm your friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, hey, you want to, who's this calling me? Okay. Let me just be clear with even, I don't care how much we kiki and drink and that's my homegirl. That's my friend. So that's always going to be the story. You ever date somebody and you get cool with his friends, and then you have the guy that always wants to tell you, my boy loves you, yo. My boy is so into you. Just know that that's the liar.
Yeah.
That's the girl. Anytime he start trying to make the milk creamy for no reason. No reason. We were just talking about how there was traffic on the highway. My boy loves you, yo. Just know that is the one. That's the one that's letting you know that, like, because he was cheating he was cheating last week, and I just want to get this story together. Yo, man, I don't know. He don't want me to tell you this, but yo, he talks about you all the time, man. Oh man, that just be ready. Then this is I'm schooling y'all. I'm dropping some gems here. I'm giving you some game. That he's telling you.
That's the motherfucker that be.
That's the motherfucker that's gonna feed you the lie. Just know he's letting you know what team he's on. Because females don't do that shit. My girl really loves you. We're not doing all that.
We ain't doing all that.
So hey, you've been there before. You've been.
I know. That's what I'm like. I'm sitting over here like, I already know.
And back then, there was a time that I didn't know. Oh, he does. He talks about me all the time. Oh, he loves me. Oh man. Now we already know. He's lawyering up. That's what he's doing. He's lawyering up. Okay, because the jury is out. Okay, so just yeah, I would definitely. I'm saying what you're saying. Stick to the story and tell your girl don't be sloppy, and don't have nobody calling me no year later about nothing.
Yeah, because then and he already fishing like a
bitch.
Yeah.
Fish like a bitch.
He already looking for something, so that'll let you know right there.
Wait a minute. Imagine if he has her phone and he questioned her like in her DM, like, hey, were you with blah, 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 blah. And he has her phone and he's like, if your girl calls you right now, you lying. So right away, girl, you set me up. Phone going off. It could be a setup. It could be so many setups. Like, you just don't know.
Yeah, a mess.
It is. Yeah.
Stick to the script, sis.
And she could have been on one of those sugar daddy vacations where they say you on vacation with your boo, you don't want nobody to see. Talking about taking care. It's me. What do they call it? Self-care vacation, me time. All glamorous, beautiful in the pictures.
In the back, like, hey girl,
you taking a picture? You don't want to take a picture with good old cat daddy? Oh baby Billy,
get over here.
You don't want to take a picture with me? Come on now, girl. We ordering the calamari. You don't want none of this escargot calamari.
None of this potatoes.
Get you a tequila, girl. Get you a tequila. Best vacation of your life. You don't want nobody to know you out here with his toes out. Talking about you gonna wear your bonnet tonight because I needed it. Because he needed his curls to lay down.
Oh man.
Oh, Cat Daddy Freddy. Yep.
Gave her. She knows the assignment, sis. You know the assignment. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you want to tell us about your gym?
Yes. We're now at the gym.
Yay!
At the gym. So I'm gonna take y'all back to 2002. This was
wow.
You know what? Let me give my little disclaimer here because y'all can say what y'all want about R.Kelly, but R.Kelly made some of the best music of our time, hands down. And y'all don't even come to me with that. Like that, all day. So are we in agreement? Let the church agree.
Well, they're gonna come. They're starting to march now. The laces are being laced up.
Back to 2002 to R.Kelly and Jay-Z. Remember their collab album, The Best of Both Worlds?
Hey,
a little short-lived tour that they went on. I saw this in concert. I think I was in DC, and with R.Kelly and Jay-Z. So this was, girl, you know you got a body, yada yada.
Do you like that?
I just wanna take you home with me.
Mm-hmm. She get it from her mama. Hey, you can't tie a sweater around that. Oh.
Pajamas. That was all day. Was that not the jam?
That was a good. And look, like I said, don't be in the club with a body yachty. What? Everybody on the dance floor can't tell you nothing. And
this was, and I want to say 2002. I remember it like it was yesterday, but it was just a year where we, a lot had happened. 9/11 had just happened. Aaliyah passed away in the plane crash. And it was just a time when, you just wanted like good music, like a little dance, a little something, like anything that had a good beat and gave you a smile, made you happy. Like that was the time that it was. So, and this was like, it wasn't like really social media. It wasn't anything. So you listening to music that is playing on the radio.
Yeah.
Fun. And I just remember, it's that beat that you could play today. After 20 something years.
Yeah. It bumps. That still bumps. That bumps and rocks. Jigga, Kelly, not guilty. That's how they came out in that concert. Oh, for real.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. That was their concert like walkout, and that was the duo.
Yeah. So I think they had trouble on the road or something. It was a lot going on with that tour. So I don't think they finished it. If that was the thing. But to me, it was a great collaboration that we'll probably never see ever again.
Hell of an era. Y'all missed it.
Yeah, it definitely it marked an era. Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a forever.
I love it, and that was that R&B and hip hop bringing rap and R&B together. Everybody was doing those collabs back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, that was the Ja Rule, Ashanti. We can go on. Yeah, Mary J. Blige, Method Man. Yeah, you're right. A lot of hip hop artists were doing a lot of stuff with shit. J-Lo got on the train with that one too, real quick, right fast. She sure did.
She put herself in the middle.
Yeah, she sure enough did. And got right on the yacht with Ben Affleck after that and said bye.
Yeah, so I liked it. That was my song. So, but yeah, that
was a good one. Best of both worlds.
Body. They call it Body.
Body, aka Take You Home with Me. No, it was Take You Home, aka Body.
Yep.
They had the nerve trying to give long titles.
This is a body. Okay.
Just how they disagreed.
That was my jam.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. We have come to the end, y'all, but it's not the end. It's just the end for right now. You can subscribe to That's What I'm Saying, the podcast. You can listen to us on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. You can find us. Also, watch That's What I'm Saying, the TV show, weekdays on Island TV, or download the Island TV app. Follow us on Instagram at TwizPod. So, Shatara, what else we got to let everybody know?
If you have a question for the Weekend D Report, want to advertise with us, email That's What I'm Saying podcast at Gmail, or DM us on Instagram at TwizPod. If you want to keep up to date on all my upcoming comedy shows, as well as our podcast and TV events, guess what? Check out our website. Well, check out my website, ShataraCurry.com. As always, we appreciate y'all for joining us for yet another good old time. Stay healthy, stay well.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.